Today we're going to be looking at a pen which leaves me in kind of mixed emotions sometimes, and that's the Pelikan M200. I bought this pen at the tail end of last year during Fountain Pen Day. Yes, there is a Fountain Pen Day when there were some deals happening on some of the online websites. First of all, what did the pen come with? It came with this really large box. And nice thing about it, it's made in Germany, and I'll get to why I say that later on. And in terms of what else the box comes with, it comes with another inner box, and basically, as you can see, I bought this pen in fine, and it came with kind of a fake leather pouch, which I think probably contributes to the price of the pen to have all this packaging. And it comes with, I'm not going to get into that, a manual of sorts, tells you how to use the pen. So the reason why I mention price and the packaging contributing to the pen's price is because this pen is rather expensive in Singapore, where I live. Retail price, the price that you'll get in shops, it's around $150 US, which is quite a lot for, I would think for a pen like this. Just to kind of get into what do you get? You get obviously nice pen with a screw-on cap. Nothing very spectacular about the cap. Some people do like the Pelikan beak. I am ambivalent when it comes to caps because I don't really clip pens to my shirt pocket and things like that. It has a nice finial, right, where it has a nice pelican and a chick down there. And it says here Pelikan and Germany, right? And what's nice about this pen is it's definitely, when you feel the pen and when you feel the kind of plastic that they use to make the pen, I have no complaints in terms of how well, the construction of the pen and the quality of the pen. People might complain that I can feel it with my fingers. I'm not sure whether you can fingernail. I'm not sure whether it come up in the video, but there's a little, seam down here when they did the injection molding in the section portion of the pen. But generally, my feeling when I got the pen was that it's very well constructed, right? I have no complaints about the quality of construction. The piston, which obviously I cannot operate right now, it's a piston filler. It's very, very smooth. It's probably one of the smoothest piston fillers I have used, right? And you can't probably see through this right now, but there's this tiny ink window. I have this pen filled up with black ink, so it's not obvious, but there's a tiny ink window down here where you can see the ink level. Really tiny though, so I'm not sure whether or not it helps a lot. And lastly, the nib, right? And this is where I get to the the value and what you get for your $150 US dilemma for this pen. Don't get me wrong, this nib is very, very smooth. It's very wet for those people who like wet pens or wet nibs. No complaints about that, but this is a stainless steel nib. And kind of being spoiled by brands like Pilot and Sailor and Platinum, whereby they are making pens in this price range that have 14K gold nibs. So that's one thing that you might want to take in consideration if you're considering this pen. The other thing that you might want to think about when considering this pen is the size. It is a very small pen. I mean, I'll bring my wife's Sailor in its guest experience in videos. It's as small as this Pro Gear Slim from Sailor. I think it's pretty much, sorry for the black background, but it's pretty much the same size with a little bit of just a tiny hair bit of difference. This is the pen next to a Lamy Safari, and this is the pen next to a TWSBI. I mean, and a Metropolitan, and as you can see, it's really a small pen. So the question being, you know, it's a small pen, however, it's not of the size of a pocket pen. I mean, what's the reason this pen is so small? I have a theory about that, you know, Pelikan being a German brand, they actually, you know, kind of have their model range, obviously starting with the cheaper pens all the way to the higher end ones like the M1000s. They're kind of, this is like the equivalent of the BMW 1 series or 2 series pen. The smaller the pen is, the cheaper it is. I don't know, that's how I read the kind of why does this pen exist. Because realistically, it's too big to be a pocket pen, and it's too small to kind of be used, at least for me with my size hands. When I post the pen, it's usable, but if I don't, it just feels really small. I mean, even though I have some space down here on my hand, it still feels very small for me, especially with this really small section down here. So I'll do some writing with this pen. By the way, I bought this pen with the intention of using, you know, me liking it and using it quite a lot, and therefore I bought another nib for it, which is actually this. Trying to open this box. I actually bought another nib, which is this nib in broad. I mean, sorry, I bought a broad nib. And this is the M200 broad nib. Okay, you can kind of compare this with the fine. I'm not sure whether it will come up on the camera. Probably it does. But when I use the fine, I find that it's already broad enough for my taste. That, you know, the broad hardly gets used, right? So I'm going to bring out a notepad to kind of show you some writing, and I need to put the book right in the middle. And as you can see, I've written down here Pelikan M200. I have it inked up with Sailor Black, if I'm not wrong, right? And because I'm going to write the because this pen's fine line is not exactly very fine, right? It's actually probably like for Japanese pens, medium, right? So I think if you're like a kind of a person who uses pens with everyday paper, this pen probably would not do, right? It lays down too much ink, right? It will feather, and it will make like ordinary paper look really bad, right? That's just my take on it. Right now I have Midori paper that I'm using right now from the MD line, and it's fine, right? You don't see any feathering or anything like that. Just try to bring it up. So my kind of conclusions for this pen. I mean, it's kind of like I started the video with, a pen that leaves me with kind of mixed emotions, right? It's a nicely built pen, don't get me wrong. It works. It's one of those that works every time. Like, it's easy to flush, and clean out, right? Because of this ability to screw out the nib, well, and then you can just kind of rinse the unit down here pretty easily. So it's easy to clean out. It's relatively light for me, which I like. It's usable when I post it. In fact, the only way that I can use this pen is if I post it. However, I think the price kind of will be a determining factor for this pen. I would say if this pen was half the price, if it was like $75 US, definitely go for it, right? If you want a German-made pen of good quality and I didn't speak about it when I was using the pen, but the nibs are very, very smooth, right? They were smooth out of the box without me having to do anything with it. No line variation or things like that, but it was very, very smooth and easy to write. So that kind of is the part that kind of leaves me with mixed emotions about this pen, right? I hope you found this useful in terms of my thoughts about the Pelikan M200. Let me know if you have any further questions, give me any comments down there in the comments box down below, and I'll see you later. Thanks very much. Bye.